Hi everyone, it's Marty here from Carrot to Orange, Montessori Living and Learning for parents and teachers. You can find me at carrotToOrange.com. I'm so happy you're here with me. Today we are going to talk about Montessori artworks. This is my Montessori art album, and I'll tell you why I'm going through it right now. Because I'm writing up some content for my Montessori Homeschool e-course, the second launch of it. If any of you are interested in that course, you can sign up to be on the waiting list because there is a waiting list. I have to limit the number of students because I want to be able to nurture and love every single one of you, and I am one person. So if you'd like to be on the waitlist, it's carrotToOrange.com/MMH waitlist, and this is a course that's going to start in March. If you're not ready in March, I plan on launching it every 3 months, but I do have a limited size of the class, limited student size. Hi, Jennifer. So yeah, I was sitting down and I was going through my art album, and I thought to myself, I need to share this with my crew, with my family over at Carrot to Orange. So this is my original album. Check that out. It's been worn, I'll tell you that. The beautiful thing about art in a Montessori classroom, anyone who's watching, can anyone tell me what the beautiful thing is? Does anyone who knows something about Montessori art? If you know something about Montessori art, raise your hand and tell me what you know about it. If there's one word that you can use to describe Montessori art, what would that be? So you think about it, and I'm going to move on. Here's the thing. A lot of people have a misunderstanding of art in a Montessori classroom. Like many things in Montessori, it really embraces that growth mindset, right? So it's not about the end product, it's about the journey, it's about what you're learning along the way, it's about how hard you're working. Well, art is the same thing, and the beautiful thing about art in a Montessori classroom is that it really enables every child to be an artist. Even me, I'm not an artist, but I have a great appreciation for art. And within an early childhood classroom, isn't it a beautiful thing to have every child bring his or her own uniqueness to the table? It's just beautiful. So that's how I would describe Montessori art. People like to maybe call it process art and that sort of thing. You're not gonna have arts and crafts in a Montessori classroom. And hopefully, the art is weaved throughout the classroom, the different areas of the classroom, practical life, sensorial, language, math, etc. That is the mark of a good classroom right there. My son's elementary teacher is an artist by training, and she has this beautiful and amazingly talented way of bringing art into everything they do in the classroom. It's awesome. Storytelling, science, math, you name it, there's an art element to it, and I think it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful because it really taps into a variety of kids in the way they learn. Your scientists, your artists, your engineers, and so on. So it really, it's a beautiful, enriching environment, especially for my son. All right, what am I going to show you here? Well, I can share this with you later. Because it's a lot of information. I just wanted to try to give you some ideas of what art is like, and art is in a Montessori classroom. These pages in front of me are talking about the value of art, which I just described to you, right? What's developmentally appropriate? How do we nurture it? That creativity piece, right? It's so important. How do we set up the environment? This is stuff that we can talk about in another live. So Montessori art, this album is divided into 5 areas: color mixing, painting, drawing, rubbings and printings, tearing, cutting, and collage, and then my originals. such an artiste. This was one of my favorite parts of my Montessori training because we got to do all the artwork. We got to be the teacher, the child. We got to be the child, and we got to really truly experience what it was like to do that project, which is great on so many levels, right? Because you can practice actually implementing it in your classroom, but you also know what the experience is like. So here, color mixing. This is awesome. Have I said that enough? And it integrates art and it integrates science and sensorial in so many ways. So here's an example, right? This is a dip and dye color mixing project, just using a coffee filter. It's cool because it mixes the colors on its own, so the child can watch the colors as they absorb into the coffee filter. And this is also a color strip, so you can dip into liquid watercolors. That's what we're using here. We're using liquid watercolors, which are a really, really wonderful art supply to have. You can water the liquid watercolors down, they can last a while, and that sort of thing. So here's an eyedropper, which is used with color mixing. You can dip the eyedropper into the liquid watercolor, you can make all sorts of cool designs, or you can dip the coffee filter. And this is actually a paper towel. I mean, my God, it's so easy to put these things together. And I love that this involves an eyedropper, because the eyedropper, right, it's really working that 3-finger grip. And it's bringing the practical life exercises in there, huh? Let's see, we'll move on to painting. And I do have a couple of posts on my website, carrotsorange.com, which is about art supplies that would be helpful to have in the classroom. Let's see. Using tempera paint is one. And again, this is just about exploring different textures. So obviously this is very different from the liquid watercolor, right? It's very, very liquidy, shall we say. This is a lot thicker. So you have an opportunity to use a variety of different colors, but also a variety of different tools to create these paintings. Now I love this painting. I know I think it's beautiful, but my son, he was 3 years old when he did this, and he was so into it. And I just thought, I don't know, it was beautiful to watch him do this. So let's see. Oh, it looks like this is a little bit out of order. Well, no, this is still painting. This is the color wheel, so you guys have probably seen that. It's a really, really fun thing to do. It helps the child identify colors, obviously sensorial. You can do fun little extensions with the color tablets from Sensorial with this. So this is the color wheel, okay? So you can see it goes in order there. And then this is really, really simple. It's just, as you can see, color mixing yellow, orange, and red. Very, very simple, but you can set this up in your classroom or at home just with some strips of paper, and the kids can experiment with a variety of different colors and color mixing with those secondary, primary, and tertiary colors. All right, let's see, what else we got here? Oh, yes, working with tints. This is I know, I'm kind of a nerd. I think you guys know that about me now. But this is super, super simple. Strips of paper, and this paper is actually pretty thick, but it's working with tints. So it's taking that blue and taking that black and adding a bit more of white as you go down and creating the tints and tones here, and shades, I should say. And again, super simple to put together. And this is just using tempera paint. And here's another one working on shades, dark and light. I think kids will just have a blast with this. I mean, I've seen kids have a blast with this. Mixing colored grays, so the variety of different shades of gray. Did I just say that? I did just say that. I totally unintentional. I said shades of gray, 50 shades of gray. Okay, yeah, mixing black and white and another color. So that's the shades. Mixing warm and cool colors, okay. And I just love how this is, now that's a bit older in terms of the concept. Younger children can do the art and can kind of, you know, get into it, but really to truly understand the concepts behind it in terms of the science and the color mixing and all that, they're really, the kids are a bit older there. So painting with other objects, one of my favorites. Oh my gosh. So many of you know we live on a ton of land here outside of Seattle. So my boys love to go outside and collect rogue branches and leaves and flowers and paint with them. And they make some of the coolest pieces of artwork. Let's see, I have an example here. This shows you where I'm from. Painting with wheat and cedar. I don't know where we got that wheat. It couldn't have been wheat. I think it was a type of grass. Yeah, anyway. And then using tempera paint. I mean, that's cool. My little guy at the time, let's see, he was about 4.5 when he did this. And he just had a blast with it. Mixing the colors, and it's all about switching up those mediums. And so switching up the mediums and in terms of the tools you're using and in terms of the types of paint you're using. Yeah, Jennifer asks, will we have this in your homeschool class? Absolutely. Yes. In fact, it's already there. I just haven't published it to you all yet. Jennifer is in my current homeschooling class, and she's my the first cohort ever. So she's my beta student. But as I mentioned, all of this will be in the next launch as well. So this is also painting with other objects, texture and marbles. Okay, so this, you can probably guess what the texture is here. Anyone? Oh, I love you, Jennifer. She just told me she loved me. There's so much love. Okay, so this is bubble wrap. Tons of fun things to do with bubble wrap. Don't ever throw away that bubble wrap. Everything from sensorial works to, creating, what my sons and I used to create roads with the bubble wraps, but you can paint with them, you can wrap rollers up. It's awesome. There's so many cool things you can do. And then on this side are marbles. So in this case, my sons and I, we put paper in a little box, and we just squirted a bunch of paint in there and put a marble in there and made this super cool design, right? It's pretty cool, right? Let's see what we got here. Oh, this is cool too. So this, same thing, I put it in a box. I cut this circle out because it was Earth Day, and when my sons finished this project, I thought that really looked like an earth, so I just had to, and I had to cut it out like that, and I actually framed this, and we had it up for a while. But this, you can't tell because we're live, but there's a super cool texture to it, okay? So what we did is we cut a piece of paper, we put it in a box, we squirted that paint in, I added a bit of glue, and I added a bit of sand. And then we put the marbles in, and it's so cool. The kids just love to do it. And you can do it with a variety of different objects. I've seen people do it in bigger boxes with apples. I like to eat apples, so, you know, however you feel about that. What is this one on the back here? I'm not sure. Oh, you know what? I think this is a sponge, or a different type of object that was used. Anyway, so you can do super, super cool stuff, right? Different textures, different mediums, and really adding movement into that learning. So resist painting, texture painting, okay, so that's what I was showing you. I love resist painting. So I don't think I have an example of resist art in here. There's so many different ways you can do resist art. The way that I learned is you put glue on a piece of paper in any way that you want. You can paint it, you can just add drops. You can paint over rubber cement if you want to as well. And then what you do is you wait for it to dry or not, and then you can paint over it, and it just, you come up with the coolest designs. And that's the thing, it's all about the process. The end product just happens to be super cool as well. Doesn't it work out? The kids just learn a ton and they just have a ton of fun, right? Watercolors, love watercolors, right? Okay, so this is like the famous, you guys have probably seen this on Pinterest, but this is just a little cherry tree. You know how we made this? I think you guys probably know this, but so you put watercolor onto a piece of paper, and then you take a straw and you blow. So that's how I created the roots here and the branches. And then I just dotted with the end of a pencil. You see that? That's the eraser, that's the other end of an eraser. So I think it's called blow art. I'm not sure. Who cares, right? I hate labels. But beautiful, right? Beautiful. I think it's a Japanese inspired thing too. And I do have a whole post on my blog about ways to apply art to different continents. And let me tell you, Antarctica was a hard one there. I'll tell you. Okay, this is cool. This is Crayon Resist. So here's another example of resist. Take a white crayon. You gotta kind of press pretty hard. So really hard for the little guys, but it's really good for their fine motor, like in hand strength. And then you paint over it. So you can come up with all sorts of cool designs there. Let me see. Oh, we're gonna get to this in a minute, but it was made with watercolors, so that's why I stuck it in this part of my album. But my son did this. How old was he? I don't even know. He must have been 4 and a half at the time. But that's a self-portrait, right? Not bad, right? And watercolors. It's beautiful. I'm not judging. I just think it's beautiful. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Ooh! Okay, here's another example of resist. This is glue resist. So, how beautiful is that? It's a butterfly, right? And the cool thing about this is when we did this in my training, everyone's butterfly came out differently. It was just awesome to see. So this is just liquid watercolors. Yeah, this is just watercolors and glue and a sheet of paper. And then I opened it up and it dried. So this is cool for a lot of reasons, right? You're mixing glue, you're mixing watercolor, but you're also introducing symmetry, right? And you can weave it into math, you can weave it into a nice little botany or zoology theme, spring, right? There you go. Oh, here's another resist. Okay, so this is pretty cool. I did this one, I'm not gonna lie to you there. So what I did is I took Elmer's glue and I made this cool little design. And isn't that cool? Like, my son, of course, one of my sons is super into mazes, and he's like, this is a maze. And what a cool idea to make your own maze like that. But so anyway, I took Elmer's glue and I went all over the paper. I waited. Well, actually, I didn't wait. What I did is I put sand, and you can do this with salt as well. And it's obviously stuck to the glue. And then added. Well, I think it must. Yeah, it was orange. I mixed the colored sand. That's right. And then I waited for it to dry, and then what you do is just shake off all the excess, and that's what you get. It's beautiful, right? Okay, let's see. What do we? Oh, hand painting. I know you guys have seen this all over Pinterest, but hand painting is tons of fun because it involves the senses and textures, and most kids love to get dirty. Well, actually, one of my kids doesn't like to get dirty. The other two love to get dirty. Let them get dirty. So I have hand paint and shaving cream. So shaving cream is another really fun thing to do with art. This one's kind of falling apart a little bit, but that was done with shaving cream, okay? And a little bit of glue to kind of get it to stick. But my kids had a blast with that. They love shaving cream, oh my God. Yeah, here's another one. But there's all sorts of handprint art on Pinterest. Take it or leave it. A lot of it, I mean, my gosh, there's one that's like a handprint. I think I might even have it in here. Handprint is like a bee, which is cute, but I'm not really sure it has a lot to do with process, you know. Oh, and drawing. I will be the first to say I'm not a very good drawer. The point of the drawing, though, is to get the kids to use different types of mediums and tools. So different types of paper, different types of tools such as crayons versus pastels versus charcoal, that sort of thing. So they can really see the difference in how it feels to go on the paper, the difference in how it comes out onto the paper. This is crayons on a hot tray. So this is awesome if you can swing it. I've seen it in many, many classrooms. I've done it, this is at home. And what I did at home is I just heated a piece of ceramic tile, and you can get excess of these. You don't even have to pay for them half the time, but you can get samples, and I heated it up in our microwave. You can heat it up however you want, microwave, oven, whatever. And then I put it in a tray, and then I placed this paper on top of the hot ceramic tile, and we had fun. These are crayons that have melted, right? So you can actually get like a hot tray or something like that, but I just kind of did a little DIY, do it yourself, DIY. And this is the same idea, but on parchment paper and using, well, it's not really the same idea, but it's the same idea with using different mediums. This is parchment paper and oil and pastels. So it just, I mean, it's not so much about the designs. They make some cool designs, but it's really about how it feels to go on the paper, how it feels on different types of paper, adding oil, adding glue. And these are all things that the kids are experiencing in their brains that we can't necessarily see. So all I can say is to encourage different mediums, different tools, different experiences when it comes to art, and not do the crafts all the time. This is cool because we colored, and I say we because this is me and my sons, we colored a piece of paper, just a regular piece of paper, one that's fairly easy to crumple up, and then we painted over it, we let it dry, and we crumpled it up, and this is what we got. And it's kind of cool. You can't really see it, but it's really, really cool how the different colors come through. And then one fun thing to do is like put on some music while kids are doing art, and it's so much fun to see what comes out when they're listening to music. One thing I love to do is use crayon shavings. So you can use crayon shavings with glue to create nice little collages, and the kids love to shave crayons. They love to shave anything. And I've also put an iron on top and just heated the crayon shavings, and it comes up with a cool design. So again, this is using chalk. This is the dry method. These are my sons. So little. This was a while ago. So experiencing dry chalk, but wet chalk is actually my middle son's favorite thing to use. If you've never done it, do it. Super easy. Chalk, dip it in water, and go nuts. It is the coolest feeling, and it also comes out very interesting on the paper. This is chalk stencil pastels. So again, integrating that sensorial, integrating math, and just rubbing with the chalk pastels. This is the wet method. So drawing with charcoal and felt pens. See, charcoal. It's pretty cool. Let's see, what else we have here? Oh, this is drawing. These are just with colored pencils and using or tracing the zoology puzzles, control map. My oldest son loves to do that. He loves to trace anything. It's crazy. So this is still drawing, so there's, I'm not showing you this. Well, I'll show you this one. This is my self-portrait. It was really, really fun to do. Really fun to do. I had such a great time. And this is my observational drawing. Doesn't have to be perfect, right? No, not at all. It's about the process. It's about the process. All right, we have rubbings now and printings. So rubbings can get really dirty, but it's awesome. Kids love to do it for the most part. You basically use chalk pastels and you can just rub however you want. Printings are cool. This is a mirror print, so that's back to the symmetry. You can see this is just regular old tempera paint and an easy piece of paper, inexpensive, and it comes out with this really neat design. Printing with objects, again. These aren't really in order, guys, I'm sorry. This happens to be citrus, as you can see. This is a fun hand painting because you just paint your hand, and I love it when I get my hand painted. Tells you something about me. Here's printing with styrofoam. So you just take a styrofoam, create a design with a pencil or the end of a paintbrush, and you paint over it, and then you print. Pretty cool, huh? I've done printing with a muffin tin. So you flip over the muffin pan, and I painted the top, or the, well, in this case, the bottom of the muffin tin, but flipped over it would be the top. I painted it black, and then my sons used Q-tips to create all sorts of cool designs, and we had very small pieces of paper and just printed, and they came out very neat. Let's see if I have anything else that's, oh, tearing is fun too. Tearing is great too for kiddos and their fine motor skills. Ooh, this is spray painting. Not in the way that you think. So what did we take? We took like a drying rack and a pan, put paper in the pan, like kind of a deeper pan like that. And you can even use a box, okay? And then I like to use the drying rack. You don't have to either. You can use some other tools. And a toothbrush. And you dip the toothbrush in paint and you move it along the drying rack so it splatters onto the piece of paper. And these are little stencils that I put in there as well. It's really interesting to see how it comes out. This is tearing, cutting, and collage. I love tearing because of the sounds it makes, and it really works the fine motor skills. You can tear with different types of paper, so it's easier, it's harder to do, the sounds are different, feels different. This is just, you can also integrate cutting into it, so cutting strips. This is just cutting shapes and pasting them onto a piece of paper. This is super fun. Tearing, so you can see all the pieces of paper are teared there, and using glue. Glue that's like, you can use a glue stick. It's that type of glue, but in my training, I can't remember what it was called, but it was just in a kind of a tub, and I would just, kind of like a Vaseline, obviously a little bit thicker than that. And so we would rub it on there and then created a shape in that way. So you can have kids do this and then create their own shape depending on what you happen to be studying that day or that month. It might be a fun holiday. This happened to be around Valentine's Day, as you can see. But you could do a four-leaf clover. That would be fun around St. Patty's Day. Let's see what else I have here. Oh, tissue paper, tearing and cutting. So using liquid starch and tissue paper, it creates a cool dyeing effect, and it sticks really well into the paper. This is neat too. This is a piece of cardstock. I taped it together actually, but on the inside is foil. You can see that foil? So I took the cardstock and I had little paper hole punches. Again, really the fine motor skills, right? So So I had a little paper hole punch, and I punched a bunch of holes in, and then I created designs around that. And then I glued, or I put the tin foil inside. Just a little piece of tin foil. And then I taped it. So you could do all sorts of cool things. You could do night scenes, you could, it's really endless, right? All the possibilities. These are, three-dimensional collages, modeling, and shaping activities. And stitching and sewing you can start to do, which is great because there's a whole sewing sequence, right, in practical life. And here's, my son did that for Father's Day. You can use all sorts of different mediums for sewing too. And weaving is, like paper weaving is really cool, and it's great for those fine motor skills. You can use paper, you can use cloth, yarn. And then, that's pretty much it. There's a ton of really great books out there for teaching kids art. I highly recommend just going on Amazon and reading the reviews. I can give you some recommendations as well. But for now, my friends, au revoir. Adios. This is my math album. Many of these ideas will be integrated into my Montessori homeschool e-course. If anyone is interested in getting on the wait list for my e-course, the second launch is happening in March 2017, and there is a waiting list. I have to limit the size of the class because I want to love each and every one of you as best as I can. If you'd like to get on the wait list, it's carrotsorange.com/MMH waitlist. In the meantime, you guys take care of yourself, and I will be in touch. Bye.